Hello and welcome. My name is John Gholson. I'm going to be your instructor for this course. And what I want to talk about is what we're going to cover in this course. And that's a picture of me in Florida at the beach. I'm just going to be talking about this course and what you need to have ready for the course, what you need to be aware of in the course, and how you need to approach the course. Welcome to Skillshare, and thank you for joining this course. And I just want to talk about, you can find more of my artwork on johngholson.com, and that's pretty much it. That's me. That's a picture of me at the beach. And johngholson.com is the website that has a lot of my artwork, more examples. I have a lot of fine art experience. My grandmother was an artist, my mother's an artist, my dad's a photographer, so I definitely have the art gene, and I was raised doing art, and I have done art since a very young age. So I also went to art college, made a 3.6 GPA, so I'm quite qualified to teach you guys some fundamentals of this course. Okay, and this is an example of one of my most popular prints on the internet. It's a sports art scene. It has anatomical figures, dynamic wrinkles, dynamic anatomy, lots of color, lots of emotion, lots of moods and passion in the painting and the lines. This picture was done with a combination of traditional mediums. I drew the image with black ink on 11 by 17 paper. I scanned it and I colored it digitally. In this course, we're going to be primarily working traditionally. We're going to be using pencils, pens, and also some Prismacolor markers. You don't need to worry about working digitally at this point. You can at a later time if you're ready to get a touch screen, get you a drawing screen, and you can work digitally. You can work in a hybrid method, which is what this is, where you're working partly traditionally and partly digitally. A lot of illustrators do this technique, and some illustrators also work entirely digitally. So I'm going to be putting together some courses that cover working the hybrid method and also working entirely digitally as well. So stay tuned in the future for those coming up later on. But for now, we're going to go back to this course and what we're covering. Once again, this is my traditional art. This is acrylic. This is what I'm kind of my look, my style. I do a lot of. I've done a lot of florals. I've done a lot of painting, a lot of color, a lot of energy. People will buy this, put it in their home. They love it. They'll put it behind their sofa, decorate with it. And this is about color and harmonies and shapes, shape placement, line quality. All sorts of art jargon and terms that you can learn through the years. But and here's also another hybrid piece that is done digitally. The colors are all digital, but the texture and the drawing was done traditionally on paper with a few washes, a few graphite washes, and some pencil. And moving onward. Okay, one of the things I like to cover is drawing with pens. Drawing with pens are really awesome because it prepares you to not get in the mindset of always erasing. When you're drawing with a pen, you have to be sure of your mark. You have to be confident where you're placing your marks. This pen is the one that I use for a lot of sketching. They're very cheap. You can get them at drugstores, anywhere. Pretty much any grocery stores have them sometimes. Office supply stores have them. Art stores even have them. It's just a regular Bic Atlantis pen. The reason I love it is because it's great for sketching. It has this grip in the middle that flares out, as you can see, and it draws really smooth, really silky. It has a smooth drawing feel on paper. It doesn't get kind of clogged that easily. It's just a great pen. This is what I do a lot of sketching with. It's a great one to work with. I would suggest having a pen like this for the course. It's not required, of course. You could use any pen you want, but this is the one I highly recommend. It just needs to be a pen you're comfortable with, and a pen that can draw. The concept of working with a pen is so that you don't get caught up in the habit of always making a mark and then doubting it and erasing it. Pen is to make your marks more confident and make you be more aware of your mark making technique. Okay, and this is also a mechanical pencil lead size comparison I found on the internet. Any of these pencils would work for this course. I would stay away from the .2 and the .3 on the left. They are a little bit difficult to work with. And when the lead is extended at any kind of distance, it will snap. It is so small. It is an incredible pencil working that small, but it's just not practical for this course. Anything, I would start with a .5 over to the left, near the side of the left. The .5 is a great size. .5, .7, and .9. Those are the three I would stick with. .5 is pretty standard. .7 is great. .9 is a great one too. So anything, you really just need to see which size you're comfortable with, the .5, the .7, or the .9. I would stick to one of those three. And even on the far other right-hand side, the 5.6, just those solid lead pencils, the 5.2, those are great as well. You could work with those, but for detailed, just regular type of drawings or medium level of detail, you're going to want a .5, a .7, or a .9. So I would definitely stick to something like that. In terms of the hardness of the lead, I would go with the HB, which is a standard darkness of lead. HB, you could go darker, you can go lighter. You know, there's no set formula, but these are what I would recommend: a .5, a .7, .9, and a HB hardness, which is the standard hardness for all leads of pencil. So this is just a quick overview of this. And for the paper, 11 by 17 is standard sort of illustration size that a lot of people work with. Comic book creators work with 11 by 17. It's also known as the tabloid format because if you turn it landscape orientation and you fold it in half, it represents a magazine layout page from a standard size of a magazine. So this is the 100-pound cover paper. For finished drawings, you can use the 100-pound paper. I would not get in the habit of using 100-pound paper all the time. It's just not practical. You don't need to be wasting that type of paper. It's kind of pricey compared to the cheaper paper. This is just a picture of the 11 by 17 20-pound paper that I don't know what brand this is. I've never seen this brand. I just am using it to show you. It's 11 by 17 and it's 20 pound and it's not very thick. It's a kind of a lightweight paper, and the other reason it's great is because on a Lightbox it's thin enough that you can see through it, but not so thin that it tears easily. So 20 pound is what you should do most of your practicing on. Of course, you could use any pound paper you want, but 20 pound is what I would suggest. It's cost effective, and you can get a lot of sheets of it at a place like Office Depot. Office Supply Store usually has it. And if you can't find 11 by 17 paper, then 8.5 by 11, which is just a standard basic printer paper, that will also be fine. I'm just suggesting you get in the habit of working in the 11 by 17 length to width ratio because it's a good size to get comfortable with. Here's some Prismacolor markers. These are not essential. They're fun for adding color and playing around with color. If you don't want to invest in a touchscreen or a digital tablet, Prismacolor are a great way to hone your technique. There's many illustrators that do incredible work just with these Prismacolor type markers alone. And once again, it doesn't have to be Prismacolor brand, but any markers that have, if you look closely, this has a double-sided marker, has a chisel tip and a pen tip. The chisel tip is important to get certain looks, as is the pen tip, and they're not essential, but I would recommend them. This is a book on numerology. These cards are, they call them oracle type cards. They're for guidance. They are not a religion. They're not really a philosophy. They're just a way of understanding reality, and they're really fun. They're really exciting. This is the set that I have, and this is a set I sometimes reference in the course. It's kind of good because it lets you think outside the box. It expands your mind, and from a visual point of view, numerology is great because it deals with basic shapes and numbers, which is what this course talks about as well. This is a Lightbox. This is a Portatrace Lightbox. The brand I use the most is Portatrace. They come in different sizes. Any size is fine. The size that I have in the course is large enough to fit two 11 by 17 sheets next to each other in the portrait orientation. So you don't have to have a light box, but if you do get a light box, it would be nice if it's able to handle the 11 by 17 size of paper, because that's the size I recommend you work with. Any light box will do. Even a light box is not essential. It is only important to go over your lines, to work with the line quality and sharpen your existing lines. It's not a requirement. It is just something kind of like can enhance your technique, and it's a great tool for reworking your work and checking things on it. So, and these Portatrace boxes are really easy to replace the bulbs. You can unscrew the top and just go to a Lowe's or a Home Depot type store and get a fluorescent bulb to pop in when they eventually burn out. So that's a light box. And quick recap. You're going to need some 20-pound paper. I would recommend 11 by 17. It doesn't have to be. It can be 8.5 by 11. Light box, not essential, but it is kind of cool to have one. I use Portatrace as the brand. Atlantis Bic pen. You need some sort of pen to sketch with. A sketching pen is great. Pencils are fine, and they're good too. But the pen is great for learning to sketch because you can't erase, and you learn how to be confident in your marks, and you learn better line quality by drawing and sketching with a pen. I do use pencils as well for the finished drawing. Ironically, I kind of work backwards. I use the pencil for the finished product and work on top of the pen with pencil with a new sheet. That's where the light box comes in handy. So that's just a technique on that. The 100-pound paper is 11 by 17. That's for finished drawings that you'd want to do a final presentation or a final image with on 100-pound 11 by 17 paper. Prismacolor markers are great for if you're doing any coloring techniques. If you don't want to invest in a touchscreen or a drawing tablet at the time, you can use the Prismacolor markers. And for the lead pencil, once again, 0.5, 0.7, and 0.9 are all the ideal sizes. Anything above or below that, you're kind of getting into some different ideas. So I'd stick with a 0.5, 0.7, or 0.9. Numerology cards, they're not essential, but they're great tool and accessory. They will expand your thinking, and they are very exciting to work with in terms of art and shapes and numbers and just really connecting the real world into a flat plane. So it's great for artists. It talks about color. Doesn't really talk about color directly, but it has things in color about it. And the very last thing, throughout the course, you may hear me talking about ab work if you did your workout in the morning. This course is several different videos will cover this course, and it was originally conceived as an idea to combine working out and learning the human figure and anatomy. So I encouraged anyone who took the course to do certain ab exercises to sharpen their body as they sharpen their mental skills. So if you hear me talking about that, you can do the ab work. You don't have to. You can skip over that. It's whatever floats your boat on that. It will sharpen your mind and help you work stronger in certain ways and literally be stronger as you work. However, it is totally optional, and it is your call. Other than that, I'm glad you signed up for this course. I'm really looking forward to going through the entire course with you guys and you guys learning. It's a mini course, many lessons in this course, and I just really am excited you're here. And this concept is something I'm developing throughout my lifetime to continue to create and to continue to teach these concepts. This is the first grand iteration of this course, and I'm glad you're listening to it and have a willingness to learn, willingness to study and practice it. If you can get over your frustration levels of learning to draw, you can learn anything. You just have to focus and get past the frustration of feeling as if you want to give up, or you're tired, or you can't focus. Other than that, this is about the human figure. If you can draw the figure, you can draw anything in art. So good luck, and start learning the figure is the foundation, should be the foundation for most artists. And pretty much that's it. Thank you for joining the course, and I look forward to continuing to teach you later on throughout the years. All right, have a great course, and for more of my artwork, visit johngholson.com and continue to practice your craft. Thank you. Bye-bye.